Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It's markets in the morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Tuesday, September 26, 2023. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, the Bitcoin price chart, the XRP price chart, the altcoin market, and take a look over there at the stock market as we get ready to open in 1 minute from right now. Of course, we'll take a peek over there at the DXY, or the US dollar currency index, and any type of crypto news or any type of financial news that is going on out there in the world as we get ready for the day to begin. We are obviously in a lot of chaos over there in the stock market right now. We've seen a lot of volatility in the stock market. We have the DXY fighting up against 106 currently right now. We have the stock market set to open to the downside as it gets kicked off here in just a few seconds. Yesterday was extremely volatile. Eventually, the stock market ended up recovering itself by the time the market did close. Prices were up by the time it came to a conclusion. But we are going to open down about 200 points. And there we go. We just opened currently right now. Dow Jones down about 200 as the day gets kicked off. We can see the S&P is down 27 points, or 0.64%, and the NASDAQ is down 0.72, or about three quarters of a percent. So we're not like in anything that has broken yet, but of course all eyes are on it to see if it actually does. So we haven't set any type of lower lows currently. It is very normal for us to pull back into these levels. We've seen these things happen multiple times as you get into these climbs, that you'll work out a range for some time period, build a little bit of a bull flag, break out, come back to the base of the bull flag, as we can see happening in here. You can see that actually taking place back there in C19 as well. Doesn't quite get through the heights, but kind of ABCs and gets right back down in there into the base. However, we don't have examples of where we go set lower lows. And historically, when we start setting lower lows, that's when warning signs are being dished out in the markets. Right now, we don't have them yet, but of course, all eyes are on it to see if we're going to bounce here. The DXY fighting there, that 106 level, peaked above it overnight to see if it's going to get a clean break through it. Obviously, we've already seen it. It can wick above there and doesn't cause the world to come crumbling down. But if it gets a clean breakthrough there, we'll see what happens. So the 106, why is 106 even a number that we talk about, by the way? It's not actually like a technical retrace level or anything like that. This is actually a video that we did about 2 or 3 weeks ago showing when like the bubbles popped or when extreme price action has happened in here. 106 getting clean breaks through this level, both to the upside and to the downside, have historically marked when big events kind of happen in the market. So the only reason we even have it marked is because, well, we've seen it happen there before. So as we have the stock market currently right now getting down near these levels, where are we at? We're fighting that 106. Sure would be nice to see things on the DXY just reverse, and of course see the stock market reverse, and of course for crypto do the same thing, get some upward momentum happening in there. As for the Dow Jones, now that we've been open for about 2 minutes, you see the Dow's down 180, which is about 0.5%. The NASDAQ a little bit more, down 0.86%. And the S&P down 31 points, which is about 0.72%. Nearly this whole thing closed green. It's hard for me to remember which one it was that ended up closing in the red, but all of them except one closed green yesterday. Looks like we got all of them red today. Let's head over to crypto, see how crypto is doing to start the day off. As you can see, mostly in the red, but nothing insane. Total 3 is down 0.25% or 0.33% this morning. You got Bitcoin down 0.4%. You got XRP down 1%. You do have a few of them sitting over in the green as the day does get kicked off. So we'll kind of zoom in here more on Bitcoin a little bit just to look at price action. There are some familiar things. Now, we've talked about like the crashing structure all emerging in here right now. And really just kind of looking here at these endings that's happening here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We saw a lot of familiar price action like that as we were getting ready to wrap this one up in here, where we saw the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shoots its way back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 once again. This looks awfully familiar to what both of these looked like. In this example, this is more of an A, B, C that happens in here. Question is, have we already completed that? And does this just fire up? My thoughts are, my guess on what we will see with Bitcoin is a move at least back to somewhere around 26.7. And the question is, what happens from here? Does it get rejected and we do this exact 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thing once more again? Or if it gets through there, that may mark that we're already done. Now, we've already talked about crashing structures that have happened in here, right? Full-blown crashing structure. We saw it on the daily time frame, the hourly time frame. We even saw it all the way down to the 1 minute time frame happening in here on all different types of time frames to say that, hey, that was a pretty good chance for that to be the low. Now, what happens after crashing structures are complete? We typically see what ABCs come out in here, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if there is something like this, because this would actually end up being an ABC. So we'll wait to see how price action plays out. Hopefully we have some type of reversal that comes over there in the stock market today, that the DXY can go ahead and get itself nice and rejected, and the stock market can hold that support, and then we'll assess from there. But of course, craziness over there in stocks as, let's see, I don't think yields are doing much today, right? At least not the long durations ones, are they? Now that we're open, it looks like you got long duration yields up again, but just slightly. We've had those for a few days now where they've really been rampaging, especially last week. It looks like the Dow down 158 now currently right now, so a little bit of an improvement off of the actual open and the overnight trading that has happened in there. Still, we have some room to still be okay. And it is normal to get all the way back down in here. But of course, this is where all the fingernail biting happens in here for the uptrend to continue and remain. So we are definitely close. And hopefully, before we know it, hopefully this thing has turned itself around. What do they say? You got to turn this baby around. All right. But the DXY sitting there at 106.01. So looking for some type of turnaround to happen in there. Bitcoin 26,210. And XRP 50 cents. Nothing changed. Still the same old story with XRP. Again, we haven't been doing much XRP content because the thought process has been that this is a range, and it still has just held this range for so long. I think we're going on almost 40 days. Is today the 40th day? It's the 39th or 40th day of being in this range. So we're kind of waiting just for something to happen. We can sit there and talk about this range all we want. There's nothing really to say until something actually ends up happening in there. Okay, Dow now down 155. So slight improvements off of the actual opening. S&P down 27. NASDAQ down 112. So slight improvements off of the opening. A couple have flipped into the green this morning. Coinbase, Roblox, and ARK have now flipped into the green as the markets are opening. Crypto remains stable through the opening this morning. Nothing insane happening as the stock market does get itself going. Dominances, we don't need to talk about that. It's just nothing has changed in here. Thoughts are still the same. It's just been behaving precisely as the expectations were, that this would just be kind of a little range happening in here until finally the work down does begin. We've talked about accumulation schematics. We talked about this yesterday. We won't go too deep into that. This is the expected extreme fear zone to be in currently right now. Talked about BNB as well. I do not own any BNB. I'm not endorsing BNB because I've always had my own concerns about it. That's why I don't buy it. But when it comes to what completed corrections look like, right? You got your ABCs, everything right there before it ends up going down and plunging to the lows. Has been acting normal. This, of course, is the one everybody is fudding around saying that this is going to be the end of the universe style event that happens for crypto. I was here in 2017, 2018, 2019. They said the same thing about Bitfinex and Tether the whole time. Not my first rodeo to see something like this. But as of right now, this thing is actually just acting how it should be, acting pretty normal. And we're just kind of grinding along in here. So I don't see anything out of line, out of normal that would appropriately happen in this area right now. As for gold, as gold gets going for the day, gold is down, silver is down, metals are down as the DXY is up today. And looks like we do have even more that have flipped green over here in the stock market. Now we have Coinbase, Roblox, ARK, and GE. And Bitcoin's holding itself up a little bit now at 26,228. So crypto is steady through the opening. A little bit of red action overnight as futures were down for the stock market, but looks like we're holding up okay this morning. And I believe that pretty much covers everything. Man, we plowed through that in 10 minutes, didn't we? So there you go. Crypto's holding up steady. XRP 50 cents. Dow 33,864, so now down 142. Again, the big level that I'm watching for there to be like, oh no, would be something below 33,600. That's where we just eventually end up having a lower low. But as of right here, right now, these are actually normal behaviors that we do see to get right back down into those bull flags before we reverse back up. We have that here in this example. We also have that back in here coming out of C19. We got all the way down in there with kind of an ABC, which is something very similar to what we're seeing happening currently right now. But 33,600 is the one I'm watching to say things are changing. We know we've gotten into retracements. We know that this thing's all the way up near the 4.236 extension. We know that this top even looks awfully familiar to Bitcoin. Let's do something like this. We'll see how it overlays. Probably look like garbage, but we can modify it. We can always fix it. Copy Dow. We will compress that. I'll move you over for a minute. All right, so the idea of setting a new all-time high, but barely doing it, is not out of line. You see the same behavior in here, right? You see how it grinds up, then eventually sets these lower lows happening in here, as we're having happen for Bitcoin. What does it do? It goes back into a retracement and crumbles. And remember, these time frames are not on the same time frame, right? Like Bitcoin is like over here when this is happening. Bitcoin's like in this time period right in here. So this is a separate time period for Bitcoin than it is for the Dow, but we see the same similar behaviors happening in here. The final kind of grind, then the lower low, the retracement, the plunge, and then the roar back up to go set that new high, only for things to turn over. And I think out of all the bullish, that's the most bullish case I could make for the Dow, would be something similar to that, to just going slightly high. Remember, this is 6% away from a 4.236 extension. It only takes 6% more to reach the height of the roaring 20s. So this is the scenario we're looking at. But then at the same time, of course, having to be mindful and say, hey, we're just in retracements, right? In the end, this is in retracements. What are the things that always happen in these circumstances where we do go on and hit these levels? We always maintain these higher lows. So if the lows start getting taken out, then it has to start, the ball game just has to change. Does it mean this is going to happen? Maybe, but it just means that good luck guessing because we will then have exhibited different behavior from what we do in all of these. And that's not what we do. We tend to continue marching up higher and higher with these higher lows happening in here. So that's what we're going to be watching for. And my fingers are crossed. We do hold 33,600. But if we don't, watch out. And that would also be confluence here if this DXY gets a fat breakthrough 106. 106 is, again, not a technical level when it comes to like retracements happening in here. It's just when we go back and look at like what happens with bubbles popping in regards to the dot-com bubble. So the dot-com bubble pops in here as we break through 106 with conviction. And then the dot-com bubble finds its bottom as we come back down through 106 once again. And that's just historically what we have seen. So that's going to be the big watch for the next couple of days, hopefully making it through the rest of the month, surviving. And so far, the Dow is okay in the opening, sitting at 150 down. Yesterday, I think we saw it down as much as 200 and something, and then did eventually close to the positive side. So that's what we'll be cheering for in here for things to turn themselves around. And Bitcoin is holding up well through this moment in time right now. So let's see. Bitcoin is my little line that I've drawn on there. 26,232. We actually have a couple more that have flipped over into the green over here in the cryptocurrency market as the day is getting going. And then, can you work? There you go. And then we do have 5 that have flipped into the green over here in the stock market. Coinbase leading the way. We'll take that, right? That's crypto. And then ARK, Roblox, Ford, and GE. As for metals, metals are taking a beating with this dollar. This dollar fighting this 106 right now. Everybody looking to see if that thing can get itself big fat rejected. So, all right, that's how we're starting our day. Let's dive into financial media, and then we'll hop into crypto news. There's usually nothing that is relevant in crypto news lately. And I'm not here. Drama does not. I mean, I get it. You guys can go run around and laugh at drama and whatever you want. That's not what I'm here for. I'm just, I don't care about FTX or any of that kind of, and I know that's going to be the headline on here. That's why I say that. President Bankman-Fried renews temporary release request. Is crypto summer? Who cares? Who cares? All right. Meta Thread struggles to grow amid rivalry with Elon Musk's X, ranking ahead of only Tumblr. I don't think anybody uses Threads. Anybody. Okay. Fast fashion is leaning into resale, but it may do little to reduce emissions, the new study finds. We have dealt with recessions before, Jamie Dimon says. Geopolitics is the world's biggest concern. Huh. Okay. Bond traders stung by Fed see U.S. shutdown as next big wild card. That's right. So we still have that government shutdown thing looming, I guess, for next week. Is that right? So we'll see if the government is shut down next week. Maybe that's what we're waiting on. Maybe that's our positive news we have to have. What is that thing where, what is the, what's the condition where somebody like falls in love with their captive? Like they get abducted but fall in love with their abductor. What is that called? Right? If I stop torturing you or hurting you, then you're just like grateful for it. Is that what the market's going to have? They get like Stockholm, right? Right. The market's like, you're getting beat with this threat of we're going to shut down the government, but in the end, we're not going to shut down the government, and that's good news, right? Oh, it's good. It's great news. Markets rally because we're not shutting down. Like, okay. All right, UAW fight against billions in buybacks forced investors to rethink. Okay. Tesla's China exports in crosshairs of EU anti-subsidy probe. Diamond warns 7% Fed rate still possible. Times of India says. I don't know. I think only if you get a stock market rally do you get that. I think that's the only way you get it. And maybe that's what the forecast is, right? I think the only way you're going to get the Fed raising rates higher than where they're at is if this market gets carried away even further, which still, to this moment, the setups are fine for that. The setups are like that. And what's interesting is like with TXMC, I always enjoy watching him. I'm sure he's sitting there lurking in the background, Alpha Beta Soup. We've gone through it, and he's shown how when the Fed is doing rate hikes, like we've shown it a lot in the last 23 years, that rate cuts are devastating for markets. Retail doesn't know that right now. I mean, you guys do, but retail in general doesn't know that. They think that a rate cut is bullish for the market. That means the printers are turning on and everything is super dandy and wonderful if the rate cuts start happening. The last 23 years would argue otherwise. It would argue that is the beginning of the doom spiral for markets whenever that does happen. But those events have all like precursed really big falls in the stock market for the last 23 years. However, we know that the Dow is up near that 4.236 extension. This is how high it ran during the roaring 20s, right? This is how high it got before the whole thing just completely fell apart on itself. And in this circumstance, TXMC, again, trying to give him credit here, he's gone back, he's done the research and shown that the Fed was still hiking into this moment. So that even markets were getting carried away, and the Fed kept hiking, and then boom, the thing just completely fell apart on itself. That's a 50% tumble that happened very quickly in there, and there was no warning from Fed rate cuts like we've had these last few times. Fed rate cuts have usually come in these moments right in here, or right in here, and then things just completely start tumbling over. So If the Fed is going to keep raising to 7%, and if that's accompanied by a rally happening in here, well, that would actually be consistent with what did happen in here. They did keep raising into this moment. And I believe if the house came, I think the number they got to was almost 6. So right now they're at 5.25. I think they got to 6 here, and then it just fell apart. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, Dow down 144. We still have 4 of them in the green over here in the stock market. No big moves to the downside now for any of these stocks right now. Now at 1.5% is kind of your loser of the morning. Where you have Coinbase and ARK over here doing okay. And then the Dow seems to be kind of holding itself up okay. Again, this is the level we're all watching for. Anything else? That DXY fighting that 106. Whoop, whoop. Big one. Everybody on edge. Yesterday in the chat, once the stream was over, you had people spamming 106, 106, 106. Right. You're looking for confluence of multiple things. If the Dow breaks and you get through 106, those are 2 bad signs, likely. But we don't have either of those happening yet. Right? You want to see both. But all right, there you go, guys. 26,218 for Bitcoin. You got some green over here in the market, with the altcoin market down 0.17% for total 2 and down 0.25% for total 3, with Bitcoin down 0.37, less than $100. So kind of a flat opening over here for the altcoin market, with a mixed altcoin market, and the average on the altcoin market is down 0.25%, with Bitcoin down 0.33%, whereas we have the stock market trying to find some supports down in here to work its way up and continue this trending behavior of higher lows that it's maintained since last year, for about a year now. So, all right, that's where we're at as we start the day. I had mentioned I was going to get a video out yesterday. I had a ton of technical difficulties where I couldn't even access my computer yesterday. And even my phones weren't working. So that sucks. But things do seem to be resolved this morning. So hopefully we get something out today. All right, jumping into the chat. And we'll go ahead and see what's going on. And then I will get my booty to work. Oscar, right out the gates, my bro, every single day. Thank you, Oscar. I appreciate it, brother. And Ryan Randon as well. Good morning, BCB fam. Don't forget to hit the like button. That's right, guys. Number one, we got 1,600 people in here. We have 400 likes. Number one way to support the channel is hit the like button. Thank you very, very much. Chris, can you share some tips on how to manage emotions during these times? I have a journal, but even so, it's tough. How do you think about a huge red wick? Wait for retrace and set stop losses? Well, it's just going to depend on what particular setup it is, or the situation that you're in at the time. So managing emotions isn't like, there's not some little thing I'm going to be able to tell you and be like, here's how you overcome it entirely. It's totally learning yourself and going through those situations before. Hey, I've been through this moment like this before. Look on a chart. I've been through something like this before. I've documented how I felt during that moment, what ended up happening. I panicked when that happened. I sold out. What did the market do? It reversed back up and retraced, or it marked the actual low. And then sometimes I'll check and see, am I right in tune with what the whole market is? Right now, the whole market is scared, right? Everybody's panicked. You got a bunch of people who are greedy, who are wanting 12K, right? They're reaching that extreme greed as they had at the peak, looking for 100K. Now they're looking for that extreme greed of give me 12K because I'm going to buy it and double my Bitcoin bags, right? It's the same. I guarantee the 12Kers are the 100Kers. Guaranteed. No questions about it. They are the same people. And it's greed. And then they get loud and they post everywhere, and that creates a lot of fear, right? And then content creators recognize there's a large amount of people who are like this, so they'll create content to cater to them, and it creates this negative feedback loop, and it gets crazy. And so sometimes it's better just to shut it all down. Turn it all off, you know? Yeah, 12K is the new 100K. But 12K actually, like JB is 12K is actually the 3K. 12K is not bullish. It's not. You're not going to get your C19 sell-off and buy 12K. It's not going to happen. It's either that would be a death blow to Bitcoin. Can we have a pre-frog day for one rough weekend? No, man, we can't, or else we're going to overdo it. I feel like we do overdo it on Wednesdays, but it's a special Wednesday. People tune in knowing. Either they tune out that day or they tune in that day, knowing what they're getting. Oscar Hernandez says, hit the like button. Thank you, Oscar. And then Philip Mann gives a BCB membership. My brother, thank you. Oh, no, Pat says, of course, the hotel internet isn't working and my US SIM card is out of data and it won't let me get more. So it's delayed. Oh, no. Stop that negative thinking about frogs. Oh, no, I love the frogs. But, I want to respect everybody. I want everybody to know. You tune in Wednesdays, you know what you're getting. You're getting goofball. Barry says, does the volume in crypto or lack of it different than last time? Seems like zero interest now. That's how you find bottoms. Essentially, all speculators are gone, right? So how do bottoms form? A dry up of volatility. Jaxer says, no salt when dad doesn't post a video. It's a chance to review the course. Thanks for all your hard work. Jaxer, my man, thank you. So isn't the DXY in Wyckoff instead of BCB? I wouldn't argue that that's Wyckoff. I just wouldn't. I know the argument can be made, but I wouldn't argue it that it actually would be. The reason why I'm not so certain we can do Wyckoff here on the DXY, and what we could also argue is that here's why I'm not so keen to say that it's Wyckoff, because you actually could say this is Wyckoff distribution to the opposite side, right? If we're going to say that this is Wyckoff here, well then if you need it to see it with your eyes, isn't this Wyckoff? Right, there's your spring. Right, this thing could reverse from here and boom, all the way out. Right, getting down to a support level and then spring. I'm not so sure we can do it on this thing. What was somebody else asking me to chart the other day that I was like, I don't know. Oh yeah, bonds. I'm not so sure about bonds. Because that's something that's kind of in control, right? There's people kind of in control who can dictate that. So this has definitely been a level of bounce, which we expected the whole time, right? So the idea is we actually knew this before here, right? So now everybody sees this and they're like, oh, it's this. But you have to remember, we watched this the whole time. We recognized crash and structure way ahead of time, and go watch the live streams from, I don't know, April all the way to July. And essentially, this is the box that was on every single live stream. Getting ready, as we talk about the DXY. DXY continues to hold the support today, waiting for 99 to 100, and then we'll see how the market reacts from there. Boom, massive bounce right out of there. So it's signaled that it's likely that the DXY bottom is in, right? Which, right here we could confirm that. But you say obviously it's in at this point, right? But the question is, how out of control is this going to get? Is it going to go into a retracement, or is it going to go super mega high? And this setup in here, right? So here's what can happen, right? So if you get, here's what you can have: ABC, right? What happens during this time period? United States stock market goes on and hits its 4.236 extension, right? Crypto rallies into all that, the excitement of it, and then we see the DXY explode out of there. And then what happens to the stock market at that point? right? So if you think if the stock market's only going to retrace, then this thing's probably breaking out and going and going and going and going and going, and the stock market's crashing and crumbling, and it's doomtown already. But we don't have that happening yet on the stock market. And so this scenario is more of your, hey, it's going to go hit that all-time high. But if this thing breaks out and goes, then, I doubt that low is going to hold. I doubt that low is going to hold at all. But, the thing is, there's so much fear right now. There's so much panic. There's so much worry. It's like, see the same thing. I don't know if you guys remember how many times I told you I haven't had a comment of 12K in months. I was even writing about it in my newsletters. We get down here, all the 12K returns. So you get all the fear come back. All it will take for all of the, and right here, people were, what I did get all the time in here is, you think it's only going to retrace? That's all you think it's going to do? You think we're only going to retrace for Bitcoin? We're going to all-time highs? You're a dingus. You think we're not going to 12K? You're a dingus. The market is just an emotional nut basket of insane emotions. All it would take is a move back to here, and all that craziness will begin all over again. But if you're panicked and you can create all the doom scenarios in your head while we're down here, well, that's what everybody always does. The emotional people. You got to be careful, because the content creators out there's some that notoriously are moon content, doom content, moon content, doom content, and they're just toying with you. And you got to be careful with it, and recognize when that's happening to you. Pat. Now, 12K isn't my nightmare. 12, because look, if Bitcoin goes break into, if we get through, 23.9, right? All the Bitcoin I've gotten in here, dumped. I'm out. I'll sell it all. If we go to 12K, it's not a nightmare for me, but what it means is unfortunately, a lot of people think that buying there is good. A lot of people think that going there is bullish for Bitcoin. That's the problem. Like I said, there's no speculators left in this market. The only people left here are people who do believe in crypto long term. If you're watching YouTube videos, you're hanging out in the live stream, you're watching other content creators, and you're paying attention and interested in crypto, at this point in the game, this long into it, you likely have a long-term bullish thesis, right? But some people have washing machined themselves. They think they're day traders, right? And they've emotionally made decisions, left it in this range right in here. So how do you make up for all those losses? You need a C19 flasher to get you to 12K. You buy 12K and ram, bull market on its way. And that's what it is. And unfortunately, that's not what we're doing here for Bitcoin. Show you the differences here between yield Bitcoin right now. Right, this is Bitcoin. Right, that was 2019. Right, full-blown retrace up like 400%. That's not what this is. And you don't have any conditions to go back and look at to sit here and think that going to new lows is okay. They're just misguided. And so there's two things that's going to happen to the 12Kers. Okay, this is what's going to happen to them. One, the market's going to take off without them. They'll capitulate back in once we do get into retracement levels. Or two, they're going to buy 12K, and it's going to knife through butter them and just keep going. Because 12K is not a support. It is El Nato. I put together a whole video on it last Friday, so go watch that. Cash Me Outside says, did you know the #1 way to support blockchain backer is hitting the like button on the video? Smash that like. Thank you. JB Estrada says, what medical stock is the one that you said would crash the Dow since it's 10% of the Dow? That's United Health. So United Health represents over 10% of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And that's the one to watch. That's your bubble. All right, lots of bubbles have popped, right? I mean, we've seen things like Apple hasn't popped yet. Right? Apple's tied to a lot of ETFs, a lot of probably 401ks. Microsoft hasn't popped yet, but people think things can't pop. There's Tesla, like Target, right? People think this isn't going to happen. This is going to happen. This time is different. Me and Alpha Beta Soup joke about this one a lot. Hey, do you think the most common question you hear? Hey, do you think we'll just go up and then go flat and stay there? It never happens, man. That is your outcome of bubbles. Hey, what was that one that was crazy? Alpha Beta Soup. I know you know what I'm talking about. The one that was recently crazy. Sounds like some people need to refresh. I've had computer issues, guys. I don't know. So if you're having an audio issue, just hit refresh. Yesterday was a nightmare for me. Not gonna need more detail. Remember the one we looked at the chart? It was like the one that was viral on Twitter, but we zoomed out. It was up like 100% in a day. What was it? It was like medical, like for obesity stuff, medical pills for obesity or something. What was that? NVO. How are they doing now? Oh yeah, there we go. There's all the drawings I had done. Look at this thing. Oh, you had the audio issue, but you refreshed. Okay. I'm wondering if that might be a YouTube thing. I wish I had some of that. No, you wish, yeah, you wish you had. Sure, of course, everybody wishes when they see a big fat bubble, they wish they had it. All of this price action has taken place here since November of 2022, but our eyes play illusions on us, right? So of course we FOMO when we see it like this, right? But people say, oh, that's a straight line up. I'm definitely buying it. But how much is it up in the last year? It's up 62%, right? The bounces that we've seen in a lot of stuff have exceeded that probably. Right? This is Microsoft's up 46% at one point, up 72. Apple up 33 at one point, up 59. How much is Tesla off of its lows? 142 at one point, 200. So the mere visualization of a bubble causes people to FOMO buy in. But the percentages are never the thing that's paid attention to, ever. Which is crazy because, you can tell. Let's do this. Oh, there's a deviation in the markup. So the thing that'll be interesting about retail, I haven't talked much about this, but I have a lot of experience working in ocean freight and whatnot, and I'm still in contact with them. And one of the interesting trends that's happening right now is we're now in late September. And so something probably the market knows about that retail investors don't know about, and they're kind of looking forward right now, is that, I think I can word it. Okay. Holidays are coming up in about 3 months from now. The next like 3 months are holidays. And so what will happen is retailers will bring in all of their inventory right now, and you pretty much fight over boat space to get to have your inventory prepared to meet holiday demand. As you know, in October or in 2020, they did not have enough inventory due to C-19 happening. Not enough workers overseas everywhere to create enough products, and retailers likely concerned about demand didn't order enough for the holidays, but then everybody got stimulus checks just plowed into their laps, along with a lot of people unemployed, making more money being unemployed than they did, and so of course they ate up all the inventory. So then you get to 2021, and what happened? Retailers forecasted how they would actually end up doing in 2021 based on the demand that they saw back in 2020 with stimulus checks. And they were fighting over all those containers. And you saw container prices go from $1,200 up to $20,000 just to bring over a container. Sorry, I got a text message. And so then what happened was that they overordered, right? So they got into 2022, they over forecasted based on demand because they were forecasting based on 2020 demand for 2021, but nobody had stimulus checks anymore. And so they over forecasted for demand. So in 2022, they had a lot of leftover inventory. We saw companies like Target having to really slash prices, right? We saw, yeah, I mean, I think that's it, right? You just saw retailers with too much inventory. So you saw, somewhat of a pullback in container costs getting down to like $5,000 to $7,000 to $8,000 in 2022. Well, here we are in 2023, and container prices right now, there's like no uptick. It's like nobody's fighting over containers right now. Nobody's fighting to bring in inventory to meet holiday demand. So you have like retailers all forecasting that the holidays are going to be bad. And they're not publicly stating all this. This isn't something you're going to go to CNBC and see and find. But right now, in September, there should be a war over container space to meet holiday demand. And it's not. So, yeah, I don't know. Is that something contributing to Target, right? Retail sales, right? Retail consumer stuff. Something to think about if you're like an owner of retail clothing companies and stuff like that, or just retail stuff that they're not even verbally forecasting it to be way down. The container game is showing it to you. Sorry, bro. One Freakin says, sorry, bro. I'm totally vested in your tape. It's been the best compared to others that I watched in the space. We are not going to 12K. I do think market makers are waiting for the best time to send it. A lot of money to be made. To send it up, I'm assuming. I don't know why you said sorry, bro. And then you said we're not going to 12K. I do think market makers are waiting for the best time to send it. A lot of money to be made. I'm not sure if you meant we are going. I'm confused with all that. I'm right on that same page that we're not going to 12K unless we're having a stock market breakdown and we're having everything fall apart. But 12K is in no way bullish. And I put together the video on Friday. If you are, nobody is coming up with 12K based on technical analysis. Nobody is, not on their own. They're listening to other people. So if you need to have an argument from the polar opposite, go check the video I put out last Friday to show you why that's ludicrous. And it is totally seizing the opportunity of capitalizing on fear in this market. There was no 12Kers here. They're all back. There's a reason I made the video day one, but we're moving on. I'm not going to talk about 12K anymore. Yeah, the only way it happens is here, and this is the problem too, that there's so many people that think we can just go down, head down here, and that's all okay. It's just likely not. Here we go. Dow 33,732. Here we go. Will we see a new low? We'll stay here for a little while and hang out. We got about 15 minutes left on the stream. We'll hang out right here to see. Will the world burn? Crypto is holding up okay during this. We do see DXY at 106.06. In the event that we do see a lower low, which we haven't yet, but in the event that we do see a lower low in the Dow Jones, it does not necessarily mean it's going to go crumbling down today. But what it would signify is a lower low, and that would be wherever it ends up bouncing from, that would be concerning moving forward, because in any type of uptrend like we're talking about, it's been marked with a series of higher lows. So if we do get it, there you go. That's the marker of the lower low is in place. But here we go. We're at the levels right now. Will it hold? We have 15 minutes to find out. Market in shambles. Let's go. Yeah, market in panic. XRP still holding 50. Bitcoin at 26.13. The Dow is playing us. Yeah, we've seen it in the last two structures that actually did just this. They got right back down into these levels. And so we'll see if they end up holding. Oscar Hernandez says, to learn more about ABCs and 123s, check out BCB's online course. Thank you, Oscar. News drop soon. Maybe. BCB was so bullish above 30K. Bears are going to get left behind. That tweet was put out a couple days ago. Alec. At lower prices than where we're at now. Big Shroom, bro. Here we go. We're at 33,713. So much freight, not enough drivers. I don't know. Oh, there we go. One more freaking. Oh, what I meant was I agreed with this TA. When you only have so many characters to fill in the super chat, you cut out some words. I gotcha. Oh, well. Bail on my part. Thank you, one more freaking man. It's generous, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, the 12K narrative is bullish, right? That's what they want. They want it to go there like a C19 sell-off, and then for it to reverse immediately with Fed money printing. But the thing to remember, when that ended up happening, other conditions were already happening at the same time. When the C19 crash came, we had already started a cutting cycle, right? We had already began cutting. Gator gifts 5, my man. Gator, I appreciate it, man. Evan Casey says, I won't be touching the market. We'll get this off the screen so we can see. Here we go. BCB, no comment on Bitcoin. Nah, man, I'm not here to comment on any of that. To get into anything at all. This is we look at charts on this channel. This isn't, news stuff. Thanks for streaming and providing the pick-me-up, BCB. Sheldon. Thank you, brother. Free cap, we're here for the charts. Here we go. What a day, right? It was crazy because yesterday we had a big day as well, right? But by the time the day was over, it did close in the green. Will we get something similar here? Let's take a look at like underlying indicators. No, it's not really oversold on the 15. How about the 5? I'm sure the 5 is not that oversold. Unless if some type of stop comes in here, then of course you have bullish divergences that would emerge, but it's hard to say that that is the case just as of yet. Let's see if there's any type of news that we're like missing. That's like, I'll do it over on, we'll keep the chart up. Where are you? There you are. I'll do it over here. No news. All right. I think this is the time where you get some, right? Start getting some type of news drop. Roblox still in the green. Don't worry, guys. We could all still play Adopt Me. So XRP is still holding above 50 cents. Bitcoin above 26,100. Ken Beat says, BCB, do you drink coffee and what's your favorite? There was a phase I went through where I drank a lot of coffee. I don't drink a whole lot of coffee that much anymore. I did have coffee this weekend though. Okay. Orange juice futures are pumping. Yeah, that's always bizarre to me. Those ones that pump like that, just kind of like, they're temporary, right? Like the one with the eggs, right? Remember when eggs was the big thing? There was like a chicken flu that went through and killed like 30% of all chickens. And then everybody was like, I'm going to long eggs. I'm assuming, I haven't looked into what's up with the orange juice, but I did see orange juice is rising too. So, of course, everybody on Twitter for engagement farming posts orange juice. But it's, it's I'm going to bet it's one of those similar kind of situations where you have orange juice popping off because major drought this summer, somebody loses major crop, something like that. Meat is so expensive again. It never went down, bro. It never went down. Northeast Whitewater. Those who say no politics are embarrassed of their vote and team, would rather hide from the bad decisions than addressing them. I actually think that anybody who characterizes it as part of their team, it's that you're playing you're completely brainwashed, is what I think. The fact that you treat it as a team shows you have been provided two options. You have chosen one side and dedicated your life to it. And you were only provided two options in the first place. And so if you find yourself massively resonating with one side and that's it, congrats, you chose one of two options. You were divided as you were always chosen to do. You were trained to be this way with professional sports games, to have your team and to root for your team. and you have now committed to it. So actually Northeast was whitewater. I actually look at you and think that sucks for you, bro. So we don't do politics on here because I'll talk trash about each side. Sorry. All right. I'm too based. Alpha Beta Soup says that's real. It's the same reason I don't. Yeah, there's no point. Not only that, it's none of my business on why you vote the way you do. Your life circumstances are different from everybody else's life circumstances. You've lived a completely different life than everybody else has. Some people have been privileged. Some people have not been privileged. Some people have had trauma. Some people have not had trauma. Some people have medical conditions. Some people don't. Some people have had immigration problems. Some people haven't. Everybody's got their own reasons. And you know what? Go for it, bro. Ben Heller says, if 33,600 holds, does this look similar to the crypto capitulation from last week where this is the final flush for the Dow? I don't know. Well, Bitcoin and crypto dealt with a liquidation event. I don't think we've had a liquidation event over here in the stock market. This is more of just like what has happened before each recession. We have the two past recessions we have is Great Financial Crisis and C19. While C19 was short-lived and they, threw money at it to save it, what it did is it kept marching up, and then you had Fed cuts higher, and then the market rolled over and then crumbled and died. But in each circumstance, these levels held in here. So we're just seeing if we're going to have a similar setup to what happened in each of those previous circumstances where you hold these levels and then you just keep marching up. In the event that we set a lower low in here, then we have to start saying, okay, the price structure of the Dow has changed, and it'll be much more difficult to read. And just, referencing these to say, hey, we typically do these march ups, and hold on. I'm gonna shift this over here. Right? Look how low you get in here. You get way down in there. That's also what you get. Back in the retracements here in C19 stuff, right? You get these things that come way down in here. But we should be maintaining the higher lows to continue upwards. So if we don't maintain higher lows, it just becomes that more complicated of guessing, is this just a retracement in the Dow or is it not? And the rule for it to continue marching up in these past circumstances has been the series of higher lows. So that's really the only thing we're watching for right here. To compare it to crypto and say, is it the same thing? I don't think so. That was more of a capitulation, or that was more of a liquidation. I don't think we're seeing that level of liquidations happening here with a flasher happening that stuns the market. Remember, crypto, it was in 5 minutes. That liquidation, it was the FTX style liquidation in 5 minutes. People were 12K callers in a blink of an eye. Servark says DXY is the 106 is the 702 level from 01 high to 08 low. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. That was one of the reasons why that was always a level in here as well. That was so interesting about it when this was done, was that the 106 level was the 702. This was the level where the bubble pops. Getting through here, the dot-com bubble pops. the dot-com bubble bottoms. And then you see the chaos in the stock market here back in the summer of last year, and then the reversal of it there at the end of the year. And so here we are right now. We've got max fear. We've noticed this happen repetitively throughout here right now. So critical level that consistently seems to provide chaos in markets to the upside and to the downside. But yeah, that was one of those things. All right, I forgot that. There we go. Oh no, we're holding. The people from 5 minutes ago, they were screaming doom. We have now crossed the hour mark, though. We could be here all day, guys. We'll give it a minute to breathe. Matic. In 2020, C19, we made a lower low with an ABC. Why should that not count? Matic, go watch the video from Friday, buddy. I hope you're not. Just go watch the video from Friday. I'm not going to argue you, bud. If you want it, man, go for it. 12Kers, go for it. Retest of 16 to 19. Go for it, Melvins. You go for it, buddy. You scream out. You go scream on the internet as much as you can, and you manifest your destiny, man. What does the DXY look like on frog-based fibs? Tune in tomorrow to find out. All right. Ryan Rendon says, support BCB and Pat's last day in America by hitting the like button. So today, the most beautiful thing to see today would see these current levels hold for the Dow and to see that DXY reverse itself. So we've now seen the Dow down at one point, 300 points today. We'll be looking to see if we can. Going to be pretty cool to see this thing close green. BCB, why do you use the 702 as the top for the Great Depression in comparison to today's chart? 702 is the top for the Great Depression in comparison to today's chart. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I'm not using the 702. Oh, wait, are you meaning this? Oh, that's funny. Are you talking about this? I haven't modified this. So this is actually... Let's go back. This is true to size. So this is precisely what happened back here. So I haven't modified this, right? And all I'm doing is I'm starting it from the bottom from a percentage standpoint, right? So it's not that I'm actually like choosing the place on the fib to place it. I'm just starting them at the bottom. So it's true to size. The only thing I'm doing is aligning fib placements here for the Great Financial Crisis. Right, so this is just the Great Financial Crisis right here. Sorry, my headphone was hitting the microphone. And then I'm not actually even looking up here, so like I'll close all this off so you can see I'm not even looking at it. And the only thing I'm doing is starting us from the same spot. I'm starting us at the low. So bottom and bottom. And just showing this because this is our percentage rise. And that just so happens to pinpoint nail what a 4.236 extension would be of current price action right now. So I'm not really like choosing that. That's just this rally obviously just didn't go as high but percentage-wise of how high this was, we'll see that during the Roaring 20s, this bubble was a little bit over 500%, right at about 500. And so if we start our current bubble, we've currently got as high as 470, right? But people would say, oh, but we still have 34% more to go above that. No, you have 34% from the low, but in order to get to that 504, it's only 6% higher above the previous top to get you the full extension of the Roaring 20s that led to the Great Depression. So I'm just starting them from the same location to show percentage rise. This is a 470% rise versus a 504% rise, and it would only need to go 6% higher than the high that was set back in 2021. I guess last year, 2022 is in January. Only 6% higher to meet the height of the Roaring 20s that led to the Great Depression. There you go. I'm not starting it from here. I'm actually starting it from here. We're just using equal starting locations. But of course, what's even interesting about these two is that what did we have leading up to this? We actually even had this kind of broadening wedge, broadening triangle that actually happened in here. Also, that was the big move to go. And of course, as we know, that's also what we had here before it ends up going. So, put you back. We'll get rid of all these things. We don't need these. Sorry, these are probably a distraction. So, there you go. So this is like, I don't know how anybody can be bullish beyond that. That's the best case scenario I can come up with. And of course, the big threat is we're still in technical retracement levels. So everything here is dangerous. It's just going to be, where is retail going to get sucked into this market? There's so many people who are thinking we're going to have a recession. Where did they get sucked and pulled in to where they have to believe it's not going to happen, right? But maybe we don't get it. We'll see. Nick says crypto is going down, interest rates are going up, people are buying milk and bread, not crypto. That's not true. People are going to restaurants and having a great time. You would see, if that was true, you're acting like we're in the Great Depression. Look at what people are driving. You're living in a fantasy, dude. That's not true at all. Go to your local restaurant on a Friday night. Milk and bread. Look at, yeah, exactly. T just says Teslas. How many Teslas are you seeing on the road right now? Someone say something to BCB to get spicy. There you go, Jaxer. There it is. The milk and bread. We're all living on milk and bread. Don't you understand? All right, looks like we've got a couple more. Look at this. You have a couple in the green over here. I don't know how you're having this. You got these indexes just getting whooped, but you do actually have some over in the green. And again, there's Coinbase still in the green. You still have XRP above 50 cents, unchanged from all the stock market action. You got Bitcoin at 26,172, really kind of unchanged, down about $28 since the market opened, but holding up okay. Mr. Q says during the pandemic was the best time to be in crypto. That's a great point. When we were in C19, so the stock market had just crashed. That's such a funny thing. I forgot. I've told that story times, but you just totally reignited that, Mr. Q. Being in crypto during the pandemic was the best time to be in crypto. That's what was happening during that time too. We had 25% unemployment. Then people were scared. Imagine saying crypto's not going to go up because people are scared they're going to die. Crypto's not going to go up because people don't have their job. Crypto's not going to go up because we're all wearing masks and wearing latex gloves and binder folders on our face to prevent spitting. Right? That's what it was back then. But what happened? It went up. So your little thoughts of bread and milk. We've seen worse. We've seen worse. Hamish Jenkinson, what's the biggest blow off top percentage you've seen on a chart going past 4.23? I don't know. I've seen stuff go way past it. Way past it. I wouldn't even know. Binder folders on our face, right? Remember that first time you walk into the grocery store and some dude has a clear binder on his face that he's like taped to his hat, and he's got a full-blown mask and he's like super prepped. All right, but here we go, guys. We're at an hour and 11 minutes. I think we could probably sit here all day watching this thing. I'm not really sure when to call it quits. I don't know. Maybe we could be here hours. That was a tough time to not judge people. Oh, yeah, it was a tough time to not judge them. Yeah. Well, everybody didn't know how to handle it, right? So I don't actually, I don't blame people for acting the way they did. But it was a wild time, right? But I don't blame people for acting the way they did because there was so much unknown. It was also so politically divided that you didn't know what to think. Right? You have one side of the political aisle that says it's a nothing burger. You have the other side of the political aisle who says it's the worst thing ever. And that's what also made it challenging, was trying to dig through it to get the information and not get a politically biased opinion because it was so politically divided. It shouldn't have been a politically divided thing. Can we just treat this like we should? But instead we decided this is a great thing to get divided on. Hey, how about we all work together and solve this thing and not be like that? So nobody really knew how to do it. And I don't blame people for reacting however they reacted to it, because that's really the first time in any of our lives we've had to deal with something like that. Be interesting to see how people react to it if it ever does happen again. I just hated that everybody was out of toilet paper. Who here always has an epic stash of toilet paper now? I do. Always. I always have a full super mega supply of toilet paper now. It is I never never ever am I going to the grocery store to buy hey honey, can you make sure you add toilet paper to the list, or paper towels to the list? No, man. I'm buying monster boxes of that stuff on Amazon every couple of months, and then 59 rolls of toilet paper, or not, paper towel show up, and 400 rolls of toilet paper. And now I've replenished my stash, and never, ever am I ever in that problem. So I'm prepped, man. Alpha Beta Soup says, part of the reason TP became so scarce is because offices shut down globally and everyone was forced to buy more of their homes than they anticipated. Yeah, but I think toilet paper and paper towels, that's actually a normal thing during a panic to sell out, right? Water, toilet paper, and paper towels. It's actually normal things that go short supply during panic. Now we are all stage 4 hoarders. Yeah, I mean, we've all got it, right? I hope. If you haven't learned your lesson, and if you haven't invested in a solid paper towel and toilet paper supply, then you're not going to make it, bud. Not going to make it. I'm going to boost Amazon TP sales today for sure. No, we can't do an all-day stream. We could literally be here all day, and then at the end of the day, things like turn out okay. You can outstream Alex. I can't outstream Alex because he's like half my age. Look, how about it? The day XRP goes above $1, I'll do a 12-hour stream. It says 24 hours. My body can't, I don't think I can do it. Alex sleeps in his streams. Right, so that's not fair. There we go. Markets are holding up okay. The sky hasn't fallen yet. The morning's chaotic sell-off. Juice is turning back up. Holding up okay. Not in the clear yet, but, you know, the insanity of the opening is over. Eric says, I don't have the money for 24. Yeah, that's why I said we'll do it after we hit $1. We're not doing it right now. Derek Daniel says, BCB LTFT. I'm not sure what LTFT stands for. LTFT acronym. Lunchtime fun time. Cool. I've liked everything for years. Firstly, you're the man, and God bless you. Coming out of the shadows to let you know I could use a pep talk. I bet others could too. Love you, brother. Yeah, I mean, look, crypto's holding up okay. I mean, Bitcoin's still at 26.2. XRP is still at 50 cents. You don't have anything breaking in the Dow yet. You don't have like a clear break in the DXY, but we have to be mindful and we can't ignore them. I mean, if they end up happening, they end up happening. We just kind of, you deal with the punches as they come. But, we've built the cases on here why Bitcoin going below the current lows would not be good. You're in a 200-day range. You get the same thing over and over again. Euphoria at the top, 12K at the bottom. Euphoria at the top, 12K at the bottom. We're back at the bottom of a 200-day range, and you got 12Kers. The good news is that kind of stuff. If you have so much retail fear happening here, and then you have so much greed happening here of people wanting the 12K. Those are all good things. Like to see that happening down here where there's fear and there's greed for lower prices. So those are good things to see because, that's how people bears get wrecked. But otherwise, all eyes are on this thing to see what happens here. And I think, what we're just seeing, even if it dips or if it doesn't, either scenario, I think it just corroborates the idea is that I don't think we're going to see a new all-time high for Bitcoin. That like best case scenario is some type of retracement that would end up coming out of it. So, but living in the moment, there's nothing I can do to like coddle you. Oh, we're trying to get to 1,000 likes. Okay, yeah, we're almost there. Hans loaded. Thank you, brother. We're at 893. Thank you, Eric. It says, listens to Hans loaded. I want to be coddled. Yeah, you just, you tough it out for a minute. Write in your journal. Write in your log. If you ain't learning, you ain't growing. Long time, first time. Oh, okay, long time, first time. Long time listener, first time caller. And it was your first time, brother. Thank you for stepping out of the shadows. But it's always good. I mean, it's always good when everybody's like on the same page. Everybody's scared together, right? Who's buying today, right? No, everybody's scared. Clip City. So we could be expecting bad news right now. I don't know what the news will be. I don't know. I don't know if any news will come out. Just when you get to pivotal levels, it's common for news to come out. I don't know if it'll be good. I don't know if it'll be out. I don't know if there'll be none. I have no clue. Oscar Hernandez's favorite waitress says, I'm buying milk and bread. It's already bad, man. Enough, man. How bad do you want it? There we go. Look at this thing. BCB, how about an important question? Mexican or Indian food? You can only choose one for the rest of your life. It's definitely Mexican food. But I'll eat Indian food where it's like I forget what you call it. And I don't know if it's actually Indian. But it's like, I guess it's considered like Indian street food. And it's like you get like a bowl of kind of soupy stuff, and it's got like the meats in it, and then you get bread, assortment of like flatbreads that come with it, and you dip the flatbread into the soupy stuff. Chicken tiki marsala, something like that. Yeah, stuff's pretty good. So, all right. I don't know. We could be here. We could be here literally all day, guys. I know some of you are okay with that, but it's all right. Do your outro, Dad. Steepy stuff goes in, soupy stuff comes out. Circle of soupy stuff. I'm sure there's a proper term for what I said. It's like Indian street food is how it's been explained to me. Jake Foose says, please coddle me. I saw you earlier, Jake. Crypto's holding up. Crypto's fine. Crypto, it's been holding up okay during all of this craziness over there in the stock market. It's just, we're at the support. We're there. Right? Hold. Not with that attitude. You can't stream all day. All right. We're having a good time. But this is the thing we'll be watching for. Keeping an eye on that 33,600. See the maintaining of higher lows to continue here for the stock market, for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, at least the one that each time it's broken out into the all-time high within 56 days. That's been the signal for Bitcoin over there. So looking to see if we can hold that thing at 33,600. That DXY fighting just above that 106 right now. Crypto unchanged, right? Total 3 still sitting really where it was yesterday. So yesterday we were even lower than this at one point yesterday, still holding through here, just chilling. Back on our supports, right? So total 2, total 3, others. There's just nothing really changed in here outside of your emotions. Otherwise, waiting to see la stock market hold itself. Brandon Goad, not first timer, but no message. Maddie B says, I saw Dumb Money today. It was a cool movie. Check it out. Is that the one about GameStop on Netflix? But it, like everybody's an actor. Feels like they overacted it. So here's why like people are like, you know, stay. The thing is, like, how often. So first of all, okay, look, when you take out a support level like this, right? This is typically how it would go. You get below it. Okay, you get below it, you throw back, you push one more time, and then you'll revert your way back up to it, and then you can break back above it. The thing is, we could literally be all here all day, and it might not even happen by the end of today. Like literally could be here all dang day long. So like, let's call it the crashing structure. Let's pretend this is like crashing structure happening throughout all of here, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. Then there's the one more dip, and then the secondary dip. Now it needs to work back up, but it could take all dang day to end up occurring in here. That's the problem. Here's what we'll do. We'll hang out. I don't want to make a commitment because we could be here all day if this thing goes like this, right? We could be here till all the way till closing. All the way. That's the problem. We like your stream. You guys are very kind. I'm not saying I don't enjoy hanging out with you, but it's like if I want to get other things done, there's no, right. Once too much time passes after a stream, it's crazy. Like streams are exhausting because you're active the whole time. And you do try to remain talking the whole time. I know I'm really bad at that. We'll have periods of silence, but the idea of it is to just keep talking and keep the silence to an absolute minimum. And when you go for hours on end, keeping the talking going, you get whooped. And you're like, hey, let's do a video. And then you're like, oh, I'm tired. Go BCB. We are all adults. Just mute yourself until you decide to check in on us. Okay. Well, I just care. I love you guys very much. I appreciate you guys always tuning in every single day and hanging out and chilling with us here in the live stream and the community that we've built. Now it's just about waiting to see how the markets will react. I will go over there on Twitter if anything does end up happening and try to get a video out today. But otherwise, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Crypto is still holding okay. Okay, we see stuff happening over there in the Dow, but these are normal levels to go back to hang out here, and it's very normal for it to happen. But we definitely want to see it hold to have some type of reference point to go back and say, boom, that's what we usually do. This is where we get, right? And then we end up rolling our way on up, right? That's what we get, right? And then we roll our way back on up. Shake everybody really hard, and then eventually right up. So as of right now, it's totally super normal, but we definitely want to see it hold in order to have like a reference point to go back to and say this is normal and this is okay. So till then, I think we are. And you guys almost got us to 1,000. Sorry, hit the mic. Got us to 1,000 likes today. I appreciate it. We do have some green over there, and you do have Coinbase sitting in the green right now. You got XRP still holding above 50 cents, and you got Bitcoin at 26,175, relatively unchanged since the stock market did open. So we'll wrap it up, and I'll check in with you guys later. We made it an hour and a half. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one. And we hit 1K. Good job, guys.